that we are thrilled to welcome in Shaun King to the show. How you doing today, Shaun?
I'm good. I bring good news today, too, guys. I bring good news.
Oh, do we need some of that? Well, let's
Good
get right to
news.
it. Yeah, let's get right to the
Shaun,
show.
Nick,
Saved a bunch of money in your car insurance?
by switching to Geico? I mean, what good news could there be? We got the worst quarterback in the league, Shaun.
And the Guardians lost.
And the Guardians lost.
So, yeah,
And we
Guardians
traded our
gotta
best
figure out how to
offensive
hit the
player.
baseball. Guardians got to hit the baseball with runners in scoring position. They left
Yes.
a lot of guys on
By,
base.
by the way,
They'll come
where are the Tampa Bay Rays going to play next year?
No,
there, Shaun?
listen, that is a great question. This is a major problem.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
whole-
major.
yeah, I don't
they're
know
gonna
what
have
they're
to.
gonna
They're gonna. They might have to move to a new city.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
Maybe
Anyway,
Montreal.
As Marlo Stansfield said in The Wire, that's one of those good problems. They needed to get out of the trap anyway. If this speeds it up, so be it. But let's get to your Browns.
yeah.
So anytime you lose 4 games in a row, you're sitting at 1-5 on this season. Everything looks like it's doom and gloom. But I'm going to view this last game, even though it's a loss of the Eagles, in a slightly different prism, and here's why. Second game of the week, they got points off of special teams and defense. That's a plus. That means guys are still playing hard, guys haven't given up. And although Deshaun still is struggling to make his layups, this was the best game the offensive line has played all year. They did do a good job opening up holes in the run game. This was as good as the pass protection has been. So there were some things that I thought happened in the Eagles game that make me think the offense is getting closer to being a consistent producer. Anytime you can't, find success on third down, I think they were 3rd or 12. The yardage isn't going to, be significant and substantial. But I'm telling you, they did a better job run blocking, and they were damn good in pass protection in this game. So I know everybody in Cleveland is upset, mad, want to burn the franchise down. But there were some good things that happened. And I'll say this, I'm not a huge Mr. Berry fan, your GM, but you got to tip the hat. He got more for Amari Cooper than the Raiders potentially got for Devontae Adams.
I will say you're right on that.
So there are some bright spots in this game. At the end of the day, it came down to Deshaun missed too many layups. He had some opportunities, especially early in the game, when him and Amari just couldn't connect. You could say a couple of throws were off. I just think, for whatever reason, Deshaun's missing too many layups. But there were some good things that happened in this game. Remember, they're 1-5. That's 6 games. The season's 17 games. That means they have 11 left. They're about to get Nick Chubb back. I would say in the trade, the one thing I wish they would have been able to get from Buffalo was a young receiver. I think losing Amari does leave them short at the position.
No, they
I
can
agree
pick
with that.
up Valdez Scantling. You're going to cut him?
Yeah,
Pick him up.
I agree.
Or call the Jets about Mike Williams, maybe. They don't need him anymore.
They don't want him anymore.
By the way, you could have Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying.
It could be worse.
That would be worse.
It could be worse.
Hey,
What?
Whoa,
Whoa.
Aaron Rodgers would be worse than Deshaun Watson?
Guys, you know the most amazing thing about what's going on in New York that nobody will say out loud, so I'm going to yell it from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show platform.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers not playing good.
No, I agree with you, Shaun, but he's not playing worse than Deshaun Watson.
I mean,
I thought he played well Monday night. I do. I thought he played very well.
he's got here's the thing that I don't get with the Aaron Rodgers narrative, and I know we're on a Cleveland show, but this needs to be said. Breece Hall was like a top 3 running back before Aaron Rodgers got there. This is his first good game. Garrett Wilson was rookie of the year before Aaron Rodgers got there. Now he just looks like an okay kind of receiver with their flashes. Like Mike Williams, when healthy with Justin Herbert, was a deep threat, big play wide receiver. Like the fact that Aaron got in that press conference and tried to place blame on Mike Williams for that interception.
He didn't try to.
On
He
that,
did
man, that's
place
ludicrous.
blame. He
Right,
did
that's
place blame.
ludicrous.
Yeah, but
They fired the defense. They fired Coach Salah, and the Jets hadn't given up more than 20 points but once. He's a defensive coach.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Shaun. Get back to our team. I made the point earlier in today's show that I thought there were signs of growth from first half to second half in Deshaun Watson. I'm not sure what happened, but he was 11 of 12 in the second half after an abysmal first half. Even though the result was different, it kind of mirrored what he did in Baltimore in the game he got injured in last year. he was probably as bad as he had ever been in a half of football in the first half against the Ravens last year, and he threw a perfect game in the second half, and it led to an unlikely win, thanks in part to a huge play by the defense.
How can I be excited about the second half? They scored 6 points.
Let me finish. Yeah. My point was, we're looking for silver linings here, okay?
Right.
He did not complete the most important drive of the game that would have given the Browns the lead. So, yes, I'm not saying it was a perfect performance, but I saw things in that 11 of 12 that I haven't seen this year. So I'm trying to hold on to anything. Did you see anything in the second half that maybe he's finally figured something out?
Yeah, I think that's why I said I brought hope today. I really did. And you know me, I feel like the truth don't have emotions. So when I come on you guys' great platform on Wednesdays, I just really tell you what I saw on tape. And they did some better things offensively. The offensive line played good. I thought Pierre Strong was really good in the screen game. I thought Deshaun missed some layups, but I thought he calmed down and made some big throws. Now they're struggling where a lot of NFL offenses are struggling, and that's red zone efficiency. Mm-hmm. They got down to the red zone. They settled for field goals. They got to figure out how to score touchdowns. But that's a problem going around the entire league.
Yeah, Kansas City's having the same problem.
Yeah, so are the Jets. I would say this. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but Stefanski designed more quarterback run type plays than I've seen in a while. Mm-hmm. So regardless of what Deshaun said in that press conference, it does seem like they're adding that wrinkle to their offense as well. So I'm not saying that it's fixed, guys, but I'm saying I saw some things that they can build upon for next week.
So you're saying there's a chance.
But, Shaun, a lot of the stuff you're saying is not specifically the quarterback. It's the stuff around the quarterback that's improved. Is that fair?
But you have to get better around the quarterback before you can blame the quarterback. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to blame the quarterback, to me, then the things around him need to be not perfect, but I mean in good enough working condition that it's ultimately his fault. You can honestly critique the offensive line as having been terrible in pass protection before this game. They were not good at all. They were extremely average in run blocking.
Yeah.
So there were some other things around this, and I'm not making excuses for Deshaun. I've said from week one, listen, when they pay you that kind of money, they expect you to make your layups. He's still missing too many layups, but the things around him got better against the Eagles.
If you're the Browns, how do you handle Nick Chubb this week?
I just think it depends on where you feel like he is health-wise. I mean, because you pay him to play football, right?
Yeah.
So if he's healthy, then he should play. How we're doing in the season, where we are, 1-5, 5-1, that doesn't matter. To me, it's strictly a health thing. Like Nick Chubb gets paid to play football. If he's healthy, then he should be playing. If he's not healthy, then you have an excuse to give him more time to get completely healthy.
So, but you wouldn't limit his carries? I mean, are you giving him a full boat of carries right away, even though he hasn't played in a year and change? If he's 100%, which I'm sure he is, otherwise they wouldn't be activating him. Are you treating him as if he's been playing every week in terms of carries, or do you maybe give him half of what you normally would?
Ease him back.
I mean, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting because the Browns don't play any of their starters in the preseason, which is ludicrous. He's kind of where the rest of the team was in week one, right?
Yeah.
In their first live action. I think Nick Chubb is different. I think he's in that Adrian Peterson category of human being. Will Italian used to always tell our guys, we heal different around here. So, I mean, if Chubb says he's healthy, I wouldn't go in with a game plan, but I would go in with a very specific eye on how he looks. Like, you can tell when a running back looks fatigued. Okay, we got to get Chubb a couple series off. You can tell, all those things, but you probably won't know until he plays. I would go in with an open mind. Is Ford going to be available? I know he tweaked a hammy or something in his last game. But Chubb makes all those guys around him better. So I would not go in with parameters on Nick Chubb. We're going to see how it looks.
Yeah, to your point, Shaun, I don't know. I don't think we know about Ford yet. We'll see the injury report today. But I think, a point you brought up, I've said this a couple of times. Whenever it's been very infrequent, but in the last 2 years, when Pierre Strong's had an opportunity, I think he's looked decent. Obviously, I don't want to take away carries from Nick Chubb, but it might be Pierre Strong that's getting the other carries if Jerome Ford can't go.
So here's how I evaluate play callers, whether it's the head coach or it's the offensive coordinator. Your job, and I'll look through this prism from now on when you're watching offensive football. Your job is to get your best players the ball in space. A guy that does a tremendous job of that is Andy Reid. If Xavier Worthy would have got drafted by someone that was going to line him up at X or Z and have him be a static receiver, he might not have 2 catches. Here. All right. Those guys, Anthony Schwartz's, Pierre Strong's, your good coordinators know how to get those guys the ball in space so they can utilize the trait they have, which is top-end elite speed, to their advantage. So when you watch the Browns, one of the things that frustrates me is why is Amari Cooper the deep ball threat on so many of these design passing plays? Amari can't run anymore. He may go to Buffalo and be a solid contributor to the Bills' offense, but let's be honest, Amari's legs are gone. Amari, I know he had that one catch against the Raiders with the phantom holding call, but I mean, Amari had to hit every ounce of juice he had to get up that sideline.
Yeah, he was never a top speed guy anyhow, but you're right. Why are we throwing to a guy that's an elite route runner? Why are we having him just run 9s? Like, doesn't make much sense.
Right. When you throw a wide receiver screen, why isn't Elijah Moore catching it? He's got more make you miss in space than some of those other guys. You know, like I just think you have to when you're calling plays, to simplify it, it can't be about your system. It has to be about your personnel. And you look. And the thing Andy Reid does is great. The personnel changes every year in Kansas City, but the results don't because they adapt that system to the personnel.
Yeah. I asked Leroy Horde this question. We just had him on before you. Can the Browns? I mean, the Browns are 1-5.
1-5.
It's very unlikely for teams that are 1-5 to make the playoffs, especially a team like the Browns playing with such bad quarterback play. Sometimes teams, that start 1-5. Maybe their starting quarterback has been out. Maybe they had a key injury. The player comes back, something like that. But this is not the case with the Browns. I mean, they are what they are. They're going to add Nick Chubb, a running back, but I don't see them drastically, significantly getting better here in week 7, 8, 9, so on and so forth, to a point where they can make the playoffs. What do you think this team's ceiling is?
They got to get a win first, D. Before I can go macro, they got to get a win. They got to beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a winnable football game. Mm-hmm. I think before, and listen, I don't know what Stefanski's saying in the building, but this is where the conversation got to be. We got to go 1-0, guys. The Bengals are beatable. Like, they're not a better football team than us. You got to start right there. I would say this to kind of put in context this 4-game losing streak. They lost by 6, they lost by 4, they lost by 4. So they're in these games. This is not like, they're the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Sean, I love you. Sean, I love you. I love you. With that being said, that 70% of games are decided by 3 points or less. So I don't want to bite your head off with that. But
no, the truth doesn't have emotions.
Tell that to Dallas.
You're a negative. You're negative Nancy today because you're sitting in the middle. Of just mess. You're in the middle of mess. When you get in your car and you leave there,
can I tell you something, Sean?
At you. When you go to the sports bar, people are, Deshaun sucks. I'm telling you, it's not as bad as you think it is, and it's fixable.
Listen, man, you're in Vegas and in Tampa, okay? I'm in Ohio. It's 40 degrees and it's raining. The Guardians lost last night. Our football team's 1-5.
It's easy to be negative.
It's easy to be negative here, partner.
Buckeyes lose every big game they play.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
Hey, maybe Ryan Dan Stefanski will switch next year. When Daniel take over the Browns and Stefanski will coach OSU.
I'd take Vrabel as the Browns coach or the Buckeyes coach at this point.
Yeah, well.
Okay, I want to be very clear in what I'm saying, Jay. The Browns are close offensively.
See?
And everywhere else, they're kind of carrying their own weight right now. Defense is playing good. Special teams is handling their business. It's going to sound crazy, but I saw some subtle things that improved against Philly. They are close.
I agree.
Let's hope Sean's right.
I agree.
I mean, he's the.
I'll take it, Sean. Yeah. Listen, we want the team to be successful. We want them to win. It sucks coming in here talking about this crappy team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take the positivity from you.
Yes, I will too. Sean's always been a positive
Yeah,
guy.
I'd love that.
Sean, we got to let you go, but if you will, go to Emmanuel Acho's Twitter page. I see he's pinned this tweet. He broke down the Aaron Rodgers pick at the end of the game. And I'm just curious to get your thoughts on what you think about his breakdown, because I love the way Acho ended the tweet. He said, "Don't just watch football, learn football." And I really think that he's on, but you being a quarterback, you would know this.
Okay.
And so while Sean watches it,
Yeah.
I'll explain it a little bit. I did touch on it earlier. The pick was a ball that he threw that was supposed to be a red line route, and the receiver got bumped off the spot and was not in the right spot. The ball went to the right spot. It's just the receiver wasn't there. I bring this up just to say that all interceptions are not created equal. We know they're different. I happen to be closely aligned with, and God knows I'm not a Deshaun Watson apologist, but I am curious to see with Nick Chubb back in the offense. I would have loved to see what this offense could have looked like with Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper,
Right.
and a Deshaun that might be learning from some of his past mistakes. But I'm with him on the optimism piece. I think there are reasons to be excited. Now, look, that doesn't mean they're not going to get beaten badly Sunday by Cincinnati. And if they lose, all hope is gone. But to his point, I do think the defense is hanging on. I'm not completely sure that they've let go of the rope yet.
The close games don't really matter to me. I agree with Dustin. Most games are close in the NFL. I did think there was improvement from the offensive line. I agree there, but
Yeah.
most of the improvement Sean talked about was not about the quarterback. It was.
At what point it was 11 of 12 in the second half.
I just don't. I'm not that impressed by that. I mean, he's dinking and dunking through between the 20s.
It's better than the 5 for 13 or
I
whatever
know,
it was
but
in
like
the first half.
completion percentages are way up across the league, and he's the only one. So like, I can't get excited about one good half where he went
He
11
threw
for 12
3
and scored 6
passes
points.
over 10
Did
yards
you guys
in the air.
watch?
Well, that's
Excuse
the
me.
NFL today.
Did you guys watch the second half and think to yourself, "Man, Watson's playing awesome"?
No.
I
No,
never
not at
once
all.
thought that.
In fact, I was
even when-
surprised when they said he was 11-11 in the
Yes.
second half. I'm like, wow, really?
I said the same thing.
The only pass that he made the whole game where I was impressed from my perspective was that one slant throw that got him like
On the
inside
big third
10.
down
the
pickup.
one
Yeah.
that went
To
through
Amari
like 3
Cooper.
defenders.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a really
I
good
said the
throw.
same thing. I'm like,
But that was
that's a hell of a throw.
That was the only throw all day that I was like, wow. that
Well,
was a
Sean
throw.
will tell you.
Sean's gonna break that down with us
sometimes
today, yeah.
One throw can get a quarterback on track and build his confidence, and then it's a hell of a lot better than throwing a pick,
I
which
think
will
we're
go the
grasping
other
at
way.
straws at this point, unfortunately.
Some did you see the
I
Acho breakdown?
thought he made a really good throw on a crossing route too, off a play action pass.
Yes.
I thought he had some good balls. I watched it. So here's how I was taught, and here's how I teach quarterbacks: don't let someone else's mistake become your problem. So here's why I put blame back on Aaron Rodgers. Okay, you can make a case that Mike should have stayed wide on the red line, but Mike didn't. So if you notice, it's 3rd and 10, right, in a 3-point game and late in the fourth quarter. He has Breece Hall open for a 9-yard gain, and Breece is probably going to get the extra yard and pick up the first down. So my thing when I go back to these situations, and I'm talking like I'm talking to Aaron right now, well, why the hell did you throw it?
Yeah.
If he wasn't on the red line where he's supposed to be, we've got the check down option in our face. We're in a damn dogfight, scratching and clawing, trying to win a game. Why did you let his mistake become your problem? Why throw the football? Throw the ball to Breece Hall.
That's
Like,
very,
that's why
very
I don't give.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't give quarterbacks a scapegoat. Well, he didn't get deep enough. Why the hell you throwing the ball?
Sean,
Well, he didn't get a release.
quickly because we have to go. In that
Okay.
spot, and I know that you were an undersized quarterback, you didn't have the ability to look over the line like some of these guys do today. But in that spot, and Aaron Rodgers isn't a tall quarterback by any means, can you see that your guy isn't on his mark?
Yes, you feel it, and you understand spacing. You understand spacing because the two vertical routes kind of got congested. You can feel that. Like, absolutely, you can feel that. But what Rodgers won't admit is he's not as talented as he used to be. Like all of those off-platform, sidearm, off-balance throws that he used to make consistently as he was younger, he's older now. He can't make those throws. Like when you watch the next Jets game, I just want you to look at Rodgers' ball location and see how many times it's bad.
Yeah, as a wise man once said, we're not what we used to be, and we never will be again. Shaun, we're always smarter after we have
Keep
you
the
on.
faith.
And today's
Keep the
wisdom
faith.
is keep the faith, and also don't let another player's mistake become your problem.
Hey, there's a song.
That should be on
There's a
every
song
locker
that
room
they
in
sing.
the NFL.
Hey, there's a song that they sing in church all the time down in the South. It's called "Better Days Are Coming." That's what's happening for the Browns. Better days are coming.
We love you, brother. You're awesome. Thanks man. We'll
Partner.
talk to you next week.
That is Shaun King. We'll see him again on Friday on the WKYC show. Shaun and I are going to break down some of Deshaun's throws against the Eagles this afternoon. You guys